October 21st, 2019. I went outside today. It's been getting colder lately, but the sun shining down on me warmed me to that perfect level. I saw visions of people jogging on trails and playing with their dogs in the park. It made me wonder what would happen if they bumped into each other. What kind of conversations would they have? Would it lead to them being friends? I don't really like being outside. My skin is so sensitive that in direct sunlight, it will become red and irritated within about 20 minutes. After about an hour, the skin begins to blister and crack. The absolute worst experience I've had was when I fell asleep at the beach and my legs became so covered in second-degree burns that I couldn't walk for several days. Sunscreen isn't really an option because having sensitive skin means it's sensitive to lotions and creams too. I even have to use special soap to wash myself and special laundry detergent on my clothes, or I'll feel like ants are crawling under my skin all day. There likely exists some kind of sunscreen that's made for people like me, but I've had enough allergic reactions to lotions that I don't really have any motivation to test more of them. You could say that my desire to go outside isn't high enough to take the risk. But if I somehow did make a habit out of going to the park, I'm not entirely sure what I would do there. I don't really know what to do if I were to bump into someone. I'm typically quiet around people I don't know, so it's not as if I'd start a conversation. I don't know why they would have any interest in talking to me in the first place. Besides, my apparent lack of social skills means I'd probably do something wrong in their eyes anyway. I'd likely treat it as I treat every other social encounter and politely disengage and create distance. I wonder how different I would be if I found a way to spend more time outside and around people. Maybe if I weren't so sensitive to the sun, I would have liked trips to the beach or to the park or going for walks with others. Maybe if I had made a habit out of it, at this point in my life, I would know what to do or say in those kinds of social situations. Or maybe something else is wrong with me, and it doesn't really matter how much time I would have spent around people. Maybe the sun is just an excuse. After all, nightlife does exist. I've been to an event before, though I'm not sure what you would call it. It took place in the side room of a coffee shop that sold gluten-free vegan brownies and had a bathroom with a gender-neutral sticker on it. The sticker seemed arbitrary given there was only one bathroom, but I suppose it's the thought that counts. We piled into a room that was too small to fit all of us. I stood quietly in the corner and watched lights spin on the walls cast by an overhead projector. There was music. I'm not really sure what genre it was, something with a thumping beat to it. It was a little too loud, but I wanted to experience whatever this was, so I stayed. Soon enough, a few people moved to the front of the room and began rapping. Between the poor audio equipment and an unfamiliarity with rap slang, I couldn't understand a word of it. Then, after some time, I left, because the room was very warm and my ears hurt. I stood out in the dark for some time, leaning against the brick wall of the coffee shop and listening to the bass still booming from inside. I couldn't help but wonder why it is that people would be so attracted to something like this. I would imagine that the primary purpose for going to a social event would be to find others to bump into, people to become friends with and to forge new relationships. Yet I bumped into quite a lot of people, quite literally, and none of them wanted to talk to me, and the music was too loud to have much of a conversation anyway. A group of smokers near me were talking and laughing. I got the feeling that they knew each other beforehand. I felt it would be poor manners for me to butt into their conversation, especially since I wasn't smoking. Besides, I can't imagine they would be talking about something that I had the slightest bit of interest or knowledge in. So, I returned home to my computer. It's always easier to talk to people online. You know exactly what they're interested in talking about. It usually says so right on their profile. Besides, you can watch YouTube videos or play games, and you can do so with the audio set to a level comfortable to you. It's so convenient that it makes me wonder why people would ever go to the park or the beach or the gluten-free vegan coffee shop in the first place. It makes me wonder why people seem to hold the sentiment that being on the computer all the time is a waste. People make me feel as though I'm missing out on something great by being indoors, but I think I prefer staying out of the sunshine.